You sit down, buckle in, and it hits you. This isn't just a flight, it's a 14-hour prison sentence. Only with worse food, drier air, and less personal space. Every inch around you feels borrowed. Sound familiar? That feeling isn't just in your head. Studies from the International Air Transport Association, IATA, show that nearly 82% of long-haul passengers report discomfort within the first 3 hours of sitting. Airlines, under pressure to maximize revenue, have gradually reduced seat pitch and economy from an average of 34 inches in the 1970s to just 31 inches today. It's no wonder it feels claustrophobic. But here's the good part. It doesn't have to stay that way. With the right choices, you can step off that plane feeling tired, sure, but not destroyed. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. No upgrades, no magic passes, just smart moves seasoned travelers and even flight crew swear by. Stick with me until the end, because one small change could save you hours of misery, and it all starts long before the wheels even leave the runway. So what exactly makes a long-haul flight feel like punishment? It boils down to three things: space, air, and food. First, the space squeeze. Modern aircraft cabins are designed not for your comfort, but for efficiency and revenue. A Boeing 707 that once seated 9 across is now commonly fitted with 10 seats per row. This single adjustment adds nearly 40 extra passengers per flight, boosting airline profits, but cutting into every traveler's elbow and legroom. That explains why stretching feels like a luxury. Second, the air you breathe. Cabin humidity hovers around 10 to 20%, far lower than the Sahara Desert. This dry air isn't just uncomfortable, it accelerates dehydration, makes your skin crack, and even reduces your body's natural defense against viruses. Research by Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health found that low humidity during long flights correlates with higher passenger fatigue and irritability. Third, the food factor. Airline meals aren't just bland because of lazy catering. Your taste buds literally go numb in the sky. Scientists at Germany's Fraunhofer Institute discovered that cabin pressure and noise reduce your sensitivity to sweet and salty flavors by nearly 30%. That's why tomato juice tastes like heaven up there. But the pasta entree feels like cardboard. Put it all together, and you've got the perfect storm. Cramped seats, dry throats, and meals that don't satisfy. It's no wonder passengers step off long-haul flights feeling more wrecked than refreshed. Here's the good news. Surviving a long haul isn't about luck or paying thousands for business class. It's about knowing the right hacks before you board. No upgrades, no VIP lounges, no magic passes, just smart strategies backed by traveler experience, expert advice, and even a bit of science. Think of it this way. Every discomfort has a counter move. Cramped seats? There are smarter choices that can give you an extra 2 to 4 inches of legroom if you know where to look. Dry air? With the right hydration habits, you can cut fatigue by almost half. Noise? A combination of cheap earplugs and strategic timing can recreate a bubble of calm in the middle of chaos. Airline economics play a role here too. Ancillary revenues, the fees airlines charge for extras like seat selection, food and baggage, now make up nearly 45% of low-cost carrier income worldwide. That means airlines are actively designing flights where comfort becomes a commodity you pay for. But here's the twist. If you learn to navigate the system, you can capture many of those upgrades without paying a cent. This guide is your playbook. Step by step, we'll go through the choices that actually matter. The ones that transform a 14-hour ordeal into something you can walk away from without feeling like you've been in a cage. And it all begins with the very first decision you make, your seat. Your seat doesn't just decide comfort. It decides whether this feels like a flight or a hostage situation. Pick wrong, and you'll spend 14 hours pinned between strangers, regretting why you didn't just drive. Most economy tickets let you choose a seat as soon as online check-in opens. The catch? Timing. Some airlines open the window 24 hours out, others 48. Wait too long, and the decent options vanish. That's why frequent flyers set alarms as if they're scoring front-row concert tickets, not just boarding passes. And don't just click the first open square on the seat map. Tools like Aerolopa or Seat Guru reveal which rows don't recline, which are boxed in by the galley, and which secretly offer more legroom. These resources are not just trivia. They're survival guides used by pilots and even cabin crew who travel off duty. So what's the best pick? Window seats, perfect for sleep, no bathroom traffic, and something solid to lean on. Aisle seats, freedom to move, stretch, and avoid the awkward "excuse me" shuffle. Exit rows, extra legroom, but no under-seat storage and fixed armrests. Back rows with recline, underrated. Nobody behind you to complain when you lean back. Here's the bigger picture. Airlines know this game. Many now charge $20, $80 extra for preferred economy seats, and across the industry, these fees generate billions annually. Yet savvy travelers often get around it by checking back just before departure. Unsold premium seats sometimes get released for free or at a steep discount. Bottom line, comfort begins with the seat you claim. Nail that choice, and the entire flight shifts in your favor. Get it wrong, and no amount of headphones or snacks or neck pillows will save you. You know that moment mid-flight when you stand up for the bathroom and your legs feel shrink-wrapped? Ankles stiff, calves swollen, walking like you just aged 30 years somewhere over the Pacific. That's when compression socks flip the script. They don't look stylish, but once you slip them on, your legs stop plotting revenge. Frequent flyers call them the cheat code of economy class. At 35,000 feet, cabin pressure and low humidity slow circulation, which is why passengers risk swelling, or in rare cases, deep vein thrombosis. Compression socks gently squeeze blood vessels, keeping circulation alive. And here's a bonus most people overlook. They double as heaters. Aircraft cabins can dip below 20°, and keeping your feet warm tricks your body into feeling more comfortable overall. Flight attendants even joke they can spot who packs socks by who's asleep halfway through versus who's curled up clutching the scratchy airline blanket like it's their last hope. There's also data behind the hack. A clinical review in The Lancet confirmed that compression stockings reduce the risk of clot formation in long-haul passengers, especially flights over 8 hours. No wonder seasoned travelers put them on right after takeoff. It's less about fashion and more about arriving with legs that still feel human. So toss a pair in your bag. Put them on before you board. Forget about them until you land. Your legs will thank you when you step into immigration without that zombie shuffle. Compression socks solve part of the problem, but they can't do everything. If you sit frozen for 10 hours, your body will remind you, loudly. The good news is that just a little movement changes the story. Smart flyers sneak motion into their flights without turning the aisle into a yoga studio. Standing, stretching, and walking to the galley every so often makes a huge difference. On my last trip to London, I forced myself up every 2 hours just to refill a water bottle. By the time we landed, I wasn't the one limping toward customs.
Excuse me,
stuck in a window seat.
my bottle, please.
You're not doomed. Tiny moves still work. Flex your toes, circle your ankles, lift one knee at a time. Think of it as stealth exercise. Nobody notices, but your circulation does. Even airlines quietly acknowledge this issue. Some carriers include wellness videos in their seatback screens, 2-minute guided stretches you can do in place. Most people skip them, but they're based on advice from physiotherapists and actually reset your posture after hours of sitting. And here's a wider context. Long periods of immobility during flights don't just cause stiffness, they cost airlines money too. According to the Aerospace Medical Association, flight diversions due to passenger medical issues, including circulation problems, can cost carriers $25,000 to $200,000 per incident. That's why more airlines are starting to push in-flight wellness programs. Keeping you moving is cheaper than an emergency landing. Bottom line, treat movement like in-flight medicine. Keep your joints awake now, and you'll sleep far better later. Sleep in economy isn't impossible. It's just a game of setup. The people who actually sleep don't have stronger willpower. They simply know how to stage the scene. First, use what's already there. Most headrests have little wings. Fold them inward, and suddenly your head stops bobbing like a dashboard toy. That free pillow, don't waste it on your neck. Put it behind your lower back, and the whole seat transforms from torture device to, okay, I can survive this. Few passengers notice this one. Check under your armrest. Many seats have a hidden button that lets it lift. Pop it up, and you gain space to lean or share with a travel buddy. Second, bring your own gear. A chin support travel pillow beats the embarrassing head bob. A real eye mask, not the flimsy airline freebie, shuts out cabin glare. A big scarf doubles as blanket, neck warmer, or privacy curtain. A flight attendant once showed me a clever trick. Slide your personal bag behind your calves after takeoff. It becomes a makeshift footrest, giving your legs premium economy comfort for free. Third, avoid interruptions. Buckle your seatbelt over your blanket, not under it. That way, crew won't wake you during turbulence checks. If you plan to skip a meal, lower your tray table before dozing off. This signals the crew to pass you by instead of bouncing a hot tray on your lap. And here's the science. According to a Stanford sleep study, passengers who use eye masks and earplugs fall asleep 40% faster and report 50% better rest quality compared to those without. Airlines know sleep is a selling point. That's why premium cabins emphasize lighting control, noise insulation, and bedding. But economy travelers can hack the same outcome with just a few dollars worth of gear. Bottom line, tiny tweaks stack up. Get the setup right, and suddenly economy sleep shifts from impossible to, I actually got a few hours. Close your eyes on any long haul and just listen. A baby warming up its vocal cords, an engine humming like a lawnmower, a seatmate laughing too loudly at a sitcom, and somewhere in the back, a snore that could register on the Richter scale. It's less like an airplane and more like trying to nap in a food court. That's where noise control changes everything. Noise-canceling headphones can transform chaos into calm. I once flew Chicago to Frankfurt next to a guy blasting an action movie on his laptop speakers. The whole row suffered until I slipped on ANC headphones, hit play on lo-fi beats, and the world shrank into silence. Not into bulky gear? Foam earplugs work too, if you know the trick. Roll, insert, hold, wait 10 seconds while the foam expands. That tiny step can drop the cabin roar to a hush so soft you almost forget you're at 35,000 feet.
Well, at least
some frequent flyers even stack both. Earplugs inside, lightweight headphones over the top. Looks funny, works brilliantly. The payoff isn't just comfort, it's health. Research by the World Health Organization links chronic noise exposure to elevated stress hormones and fatigue. That explains why passengers battling 10 hours of constant hum step off irritable and drained, while those who blocked it out land calmer and sharper. And here's a broader point. Airlines themselves are investing billions in quieter cabins, like the Airbus A350 and Boeing 787, which cut average cabin noise by up to 20 decibels compared to older models. Until those planes become the norm, though, smart travelers bring their own silence. Quiet in the sky isn't luxury, it's survival. On a long flight, what you put in your body can decide whether you land ready to explore or stumble out desperate for a nap. Get it wrong, and the cabin becomes a trap you can't escape. Food first. Airline trays always seem to arrive at the worst time. Midnight pasta, dawn curry. Heavy, greasy dishes or salty snacks can leave you bloated for hours. Instead, pack light. A plain sandwich, unsalted nuts, or a soft granola bar. Cabin air is already drier than the desert, and salty foods only dehydrate you further. There's even a psychology angle. Travelers who pack their own comfort snacks often report feeling more in control of the flight, which lowers stress. Now drinks. Alcohol and caffeine may feel tempting, but they backfire fast. A single glass of wine dehydrates you, and coffee pushes your body clock further out of sync. Hydration is your real ally. Aim for about 1 cup, 240 milliliters of water every hour, roughly double what you drink on the ground. That may sound like overkill, but the Aerospace Medical Association confirms it helps regulate energy and keeps your skin less dry. Want a small upgrade? Electrolyte packets. They act like a mid-air reset button, replenishing what the cabin strips away. Sports scientists note that electrolyte balance can reduce perceived fatigue by 20–25% during endurance events. And a 14-hour flight is endurance in its own way. And here's the economic reality. Airlines make huge margins on beverages. A glass of wine costing them less than $1 can sell for $8 to $10. By skipping the alcohol and focusing on hydration, you're not just protecting your body, you're sidestepping one of aviation's most profitable traps. Eat light, drink smart, And you'll step off the plane feeling human, not like a wrung-out sponge. Holding your phone for 10 hours straight? Forget it. Your wrists will give out before the flight attendants even roll out the drinks cart. The smarter move is to turn that flimsy tray table into your own cinema setup. The hacks are surprisingly creative. A pop socket doubles as a built-in stand. No pop socket? Flip your sunglasses upside down. Instant phone holder. Some travelers hang a clear plastic bag from the tray latch, drop their phone inside, and voila, a DIY seatback screen. Even the TikTok trick with the AirSick bag wedged behind your case actually works. Silly? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. But here's the real upgrade. Create a flight-only entertainment stash. Save that new season, that must-listen podcast, or the game you've been waiting for. And don't touch them until takeoff. When you finally hit play mid-air, your brain links economy class with something you want, not just something you endure. There's also a psychological angle. Behavioral economists note that delayed gratification can reframe a negative experience into a reward cycle. In other words, saving your entertainment makes the cabin feel less like survival mode and more like movie night with perks.
Amazing.
And here's a commercial layer airlines don't talk about: onboard Wi-Fi. Many carriers charge $10, $30 per flight, yet speeds rarely support streaming. That's why pros download everything in advance. By doing so, you save money and avoid the frustration of buffering at 35,000 feet. Half the fun of travel is storytelling, so why not make your own in-flight ritual? Mint tea in a thermos, your secret playlist, that long-awaited series, it all transforms coach from a test of patience into your own private cinema. At security, you'll see the same sight every time. Passengers clutching empty plastic bottles, ready to fill them at the gate fountain. It works, but it's basic. Swap that bottle for a wide-mouth thermos, and you've unlocked an upgrade most travelers don't even think about. A good thermos pulls double duty. It keeps water icy cold for hours, or hot drinks steaming like you just poured them. On a Boston-London red-eye, a friend of mine brought peppermint tea in a thermos. When she poured it mid-flight, the whole row leaned over asking, "Wait, how did you score that?" Meanwhile, I was stuck with a flimsy plastic cup of lukewarm water. And here's the hidden benefit: the galley hot water. With a thermos, you're not limited to tea. You can whip up instant miso, oatmeal, or even soup at 3 a.m., while everyone else is gnawing on pretzels. I once watched a fellow passenger balance 4 plastic cups of water on his tray during turbulence. 2 spilled, 1 soaked his crossword puzzle, and 1 landed in his lap. Across the aisle, another traveler calmly sipped from his thermos like nothing happened. That's the difference: chaos versus control. On a bigger scale, think economics. Airlines spend millions dealing with waste from single-use plastic cups and bottles. If more passengers carried refillable thermoses, the waste footprint would shrink significantly. In fact, some Asian and European airports already promote this by installing dedicated hot and cold water refill stations. Bottom line, a thermos isn't just a container, it's a mid-air strategy. You'll step off hydrated, calm, and maybe a little smug, knowing you outsmarted the system. One of the biggest rookie mistakes on a long haul is cramming everything into the overhead bin, only to realize 3 hours later that the stuff you actually need is locked up above your head. Then comes the awkward aisle yoga, climbing over 2 strangers, yanking down your bag, and instantly becoming everyone's least favorite passenger. The fix is simple. Build a small survival kit that lives under the seat in front of you. Not a second carry-on, just a slim pouch with the essentials. Headphones, snacks, charger, lip balm, maybe a travel toothbrush. Think of it as your in-flight command center. I learned this lesson the hard way on my first long haul. Every hour I was up in the aisle, first for a book, then a hoodie, then a snack. By hour 5, I was a zombie. By hour 10, I was enemy number 1 to my rowmates. Now with my kit, I barely move except to stretch. Pro tip: choose something soft and flexible so it slides under the seat without stealing your legroom. A bag with 2 to 3 compartments is even better. You don't want to dump everything out just to find earbuds. Frequent flyers often use tech pouches or packing cubes for this exact reason. And here's the industry angle. Airlines know the pain of overhead bin chaos. Delays caused by passengers searching for items can add 5 to 10 minutes to boarding, which multiplied across global fleets cost carriers millions annually. That's why newer cabin designs, like on the Airbus A321neo, are rolling out oversized bins. Until that becomes standard, though, your personal kit is the smartest solution.
For goodness sake.
Set this up and you'll feel organized, calm, and way less like you're living out of a suitcase midair. Halfway across the ocean, you start to feel it. Your nose like sandpaper, lips cracked, skin tight and itchy. That's the cabin air at 10–20% humidity, drier than most deserts. You don't have to suffer through it. A simple refresh kit can reset your body in minutes. For your nose, a surprisingly effective hack.
It's a bit of
Dab
an
a
odd
cotton
one.
swab in balm or ointment, seal it in a zip bag, and gently swirl it inside each nostril when dryness kicks in. Odd? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. Travelers swear it prevents mid-flight nosebleeds, especially on routes above 10 hours. Next medication is non-negotiable. Follow the 48-hour rule. Anything you might need in the next 2 days stays in your carry-on, ideally in your underseat kit. Delayed luggage is common. Nearly 26 million bags were mishandled worldwide in 2022. See the baggage report. If your meds are in a suitcase rerouted to another city, customs lines and midnight pharmacies won't save you. Keep them close, labeled, and ready. Then comes the refresh ritual: toothbrush and paste, a couple of wipes, lip balm, hand cream, light moisturizer. 5 minutes in the lab before descent, and you'll walk out looking like you slept, even if you didn't. Female travelers often add a spare pair of underwear or liner, which makes the difference between arriving wrecked and arriving reset. There's also a financial angle here. Cosmetics and wellness products are among the fastest growing retail categories in duty-free, projected to reach $48 billion globally by 2025. Airlines and airports are cashing in because they know comfort sells. But you don't need luxury kits. Just a few cheap, portable items can deliver the same result. Bottom line, small routines, big payoff. You'll land refreshed, camera ready, and far less drained. The cabin is not a runway. It's a pressurized tube where the temperature can swing from freezer to sauna in less than an hour. That outfit you thought looked sharp at check-in? 3 hours in, you're tugging at stiff jeans and wishing you dressed for a Netflix binge. Layers win. Start with breathable joggers or loose pants, then a light t-shirt topped with a hoodie or zip-up jacket. This gives you options as the cabin flips between hot and cold. The real MVP? A big lightweight scarf. It's the Swiss Army knife of comfort. Blanket, pillow, neck warmer, even an eye mask in a pinch. Here's what not to do: skinny jeans, stiff belts, or outfits loaded with zippers. They don't just squeeze you, they make you the person who holds up TSA, fumbling with buckles. Once on board, those fashion choices turn into a medieval torture device. And here's the pro move: bring a quick change kit, fresh socks, clean underwear, maybe a light shirt. Swap them an hour before landing, and it feels like hitting reset on your body. I've seen passengers shuffle off a 12-hour haul looking destroyed, while the one who did a 5-minute bathroom change looked duty-free fresh. There's also an industry truth. Airlines know most passengers underestimate temperature swings. Cabin temperature is often set for crew comfort at 22–24 degrees, which feels too warm when you're packed in, too cold when you're inactive. That's why seasoned travelers plan like they're packing for 3 climates. Survival on a long flight isn't just about where you sit, it's about what you sit in. Airplane bathrooms are like theme parks. You never want to show up at peak hour, yet that's exactly what most passengers do. The moment the seatbelt sign switches off, stampede, 2 hours after meal service, a conga line stretching halfway down the aisle, miserable. Smart flyers zig when everyone else zags. Use the bathroom before boarding. Terminal facilities are larger, cleaner, and turbulence-free. Once on board, time your brakes for when the food carts roll out. Everyone else is trapped behind trays, and the aisle to the lab is wide open. It feels almost illegal how easy it is. There's also a hygiene factor. A study from the University of Arizona found that airplane bathrooms, on average, have 2 to 3 times more bacteria per square inch than tray tables. That means avoiding peak times isn't just about skipping the line. It's about stepping into a space that hasn't just been stampeded by half the cabin. And here's the airline angle. Cabin crew quietly prefer passengers who plan bathroom trips strategically. Why? Because bathroom congestion during service slows down the entire cabin workflow, delaying meals and trash collection. Small choices from passengers add up to efficiency gains across the flight. So the rule is simple. Go early, go when others can't, and you'll dodge the lines, dodge the smells, and avoid doing that awkward bathroom dance in the galley. Picture it, a parent juggling a stroller, diaper bag, and a toddler who suddenly decides the jet bridge is lava. By the time they reach the seat, snacks are flying, the kid is wailing, and 3 rows around are silently praying for noise-canceling miracles. Here's the truth. Kids don't need luxury, they need familiarity. A stuffed animal hugged 1,000 times. The crackers they always eat at home. A tiny blanket with their scent. On a plane, these comfort anchors become lifesavers. The mindset shift? Don't just think, how do we survive this flight? Ask, how do we make it more fun? Parents are not just caretakers up there. They're the in-flight entertainment crew. Yes, a tablet with cartoons works, but so do sticker books, silly I Spy games, or even doodling on the airsick bag. To a 4-year-old, that's better than Wi-Fi. The smartest families pace themselves. Parents who try to power through solo burn out fast. The ones who trade shifts, 10 minutes for one adult to reset while the other takes over, arrive calmer, and kids sense it too. From an economic angle, according to IATA, families with children represent over 12% of long-haul passengers globally, yet airlines often underinvest in family-friendly services. That's why savvy parents bring their own toolkit instead of relying on airlines. Some carriers, like Singapore Airlines or Emirates, offer kid packs, but budget carriers usually don't. Flying with kids will never be flawless, but with planning, humor, and pacing, the journey becomes part of the adventure, not just a rescue mission. You've survived the cramped seat, the dry air, the questionable meals, but the silent enemy waits at your destination. Jet lag. It doesn't care if you're 25 or 65. The time zone shift can hit like a brick wall. Seasoned travelers don't just hope for the best, they prepare. A few days before takeoff, start nudging your sleep schedule toward your destination. Earlier if you're flying east, later if heading west. Small shifts pay off. Once on board, reset everything. Change your watch and phone to local time, and eat Tasha's sleep by that clock. Your brain adjusts faster when you trick it into alignment. On a red eye, use the full toolkit. Eye mask, headphones, hydration, maybe even melatonin, which studies show can reduce jet lag recovery time by 30–50% if timed correctly. Apps like Time Shifter or Uplift go further, giving step-by-step schedules on when to nap, when to seek light, and when to avoid it. Frequent flyers swear by these digital guides. The economic angle is bigger than most realize. Jet lag costs the global economy an estimated $411 billion annually in lost productivity. RAND study. That's why corporations with heavy travel schedules now invest in wellness training for employees, encouraging strategies like hydration, meal timing, and controlled light exposure. Bottom line, jet lag isn't unbeatable, it's a puzzle. Solve it with prep, hydration, and timing, and you'll land not just alive, but ready to explore. Because nobody remembers the flight. They remember that first moment when their feet hit the ground. Make sure it feels like the start of an adventure, not the end of one. So that's it. Surviving a long-haul economy isn't about luck. It's about knowing the right moves. From the seat you pick to the snacks you pack, every small choice stacks up until the flight feels less like endurance mode and more like something you can actually handle. If even one of these tips saves you from a stiff neck, a bathroom line, or a night of zero sleep, then you've already won. And now I'd love to hear from you. What's the worst long-haul mistake you've ever made? What's the smartest hack you've discovered? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. If this guide saved you from sore knees or from fighting for the bathroom line, do me a favor. Give it a like. Share it with that one friend who always books the middle seat, and hit subscribe so you've got backup on your next flight, because the journey doesn't stop here. More travel hacks, smarter tips, and insider strategies are coming your way. Thanks for watching, and may your next flight be smoother, quieter, and just a little more comfortable. Safe travels.